This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
Yeah.
Suck it, nerd! Suck it, nerd! Suck it, nerd!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
My name is Low Key. Welcome to the Nerd Skool podcast.
Andy, are you with us?
Andy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Come outside and play.
Andy, where's your anus?
Stop. See, you had to make it horrible.
What? My anus is horrible? Is that what-
Yeah, TBJ said Andy's anus is horrible. Oh man,
You did not.
she's got a lot of hate ever since you bit Kevin Grooms.
I've never bitten Kevin Grooms in my life.
Why not?
He's never asked me to.
Oh, do you think he might?
There you
someday?
go, Andy. We're all about consent here. We're all about
Yeah.
consent on this.
Meanwhile,
podcast.
Joe's suggestively eating banana.
But I
He's
won't.
just trying to turn Art on. This is their foreplay.
I didn't
won't
think he had to
be
try
asking
to do that.
Anybody to do
No,
that.
but they like to add a little foreplay in front of us to prove that they are
And-
superior.
Just so you guys know, this is standards and practices talking. You know?
Is it now? Oh, I'm
She-
standards and practice. Oh, she is
No,
standards and practice.
TBJ, yeah. She's standards and
Yes,
practice.
but I haven't said anything crazy. I'm not talking about poop or anything or lemon parties. So I'm okay over here.
I won't be asking anybody to bite me. I won't be doing that.
Oh man.
Where's my Kevin Grooms?
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you were just starting to bust a slow rap.
Art, are you a
No,
fan?
something told me that was your Kevin Grooms, the southern, gentle southern.
Art, you got any problems with any beef with Kevin Grooms?
Not at all.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone has beef. And you're gonna have to beep his whole name out since you keep saying first and last name.
I love Kevin
Right.
Grooms.
He did not ask to be a part of this conversation.
He's a friend of the show.
How's is just? Does that just mean he's your friend?
He loves we're all his friend.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't even know about this show.
He does not strike me as the nerd that would listen to this show.
Oh, I did get an offer. I saw James Smith today, and he offered to run a D&D campaign on this podcast. And we could record it. And he wants us to do that to teach us all about D&D. And so he would be the DM, and
We can have a special episode where we learn. I'm learning from scratch, so
it might be fun
Yeah.
because everybody could be a different, like TBJ could be a muggle, Art can
I'm
be
not a muggle though. I'm a whole ass wizard. But go for it.
Yeah.
isn't that
Muggles-
why?
I am a wizard.
Muggles is a Harry Potter thing, not a D&D thing.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
but Muggle is the one who is not a wizard or
He's a
wizard.
non-magical person.
I am
Oh.
a whole ass wizard.
Well, you could be
I-
a
Harry Potter,
wizard.
guys.
I mean, you could be a Harry
It's-
Potter person. Andy can be a dumb Transformer, stupid crap, whatever he likes. And Art can be, Art can be Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yeah, you can actually name your guy that if you wanted to. You could probably. It's hard to completely not use any magic in D&D because, like, you you have one fight, you're gonna get like some kind of sort of +1 magic.
Well, don't
Somewhere or
spoil it. Don't spoil it. Save it
I'm
for the
not
podcast.
spoiling it. I don't know what James is gonna do. I'm just saying it's hard to be completely devoid of magic in D&D.
Well, and James will make it dirty probably because he likes.
I mean, you're not
I
gonna
mean,
make
it
him be a
is
wizard.
nerdy.
but-
You don't have to make it nerdy.
no dirty.
Yeah. Dirty. Well, you and Art do enough of that. I think.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Uh-oh.
Listen.
Whoa.
Easy.
Oh.
Listen.
Do
You
not
fly-
tell a
you're-
woman. Do
I
not
don't
tell a
know-
woman easy.
I don't know what it is. It's like
Tell her to relax.
it's like
No.
it's like Joe went off on Andy today, and now TBJ is just like she's Greg the Hammer Valentine. She just lambs the law down.
She is the
like-
Greg the Hammer Valentine of the
She's
podcast.
coming in hot.
Brings the
I have
hammer
no
down.
idea who that is.
Don't look him up because you will fall in love, TBJ,
Lie.
and you will
With his
never get any more
blonde
work
locks.
done. You'll
Is
just
he
stare.
Adam Driver on a horse fall in love?
Yes.
better
Is
blonde locks
he
than
Michael B. Jordan and
Hemsworth.
Creed fall in love?
10 times both of those. You
Is
will
he
never.
a Hemsworth brother at
if
any
you-
time fall in love?
If you look up interviews with Greg the Hammer Valentine, you will stop getting any work done. You'll just stare at that all day, and you'll fall in love with him.
Something tells me that I would not. Something tells me that you're lying.
TBJ and Greg the Hammer Valentine sitting in a tree.
Nope.
Art, do you
What is-
think Greg the Hammer Valentine's her type?
Nah.
Oh,
I think if anything,
he should have played Thor.
No. No one should have played Thor. The person who should have played Thor played Thor.
I
The
feel
end.
like TBJ would eat Greg the Hammer Valentine up. She'd be like what's his name? Garvey, right? She'd be like
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Steve Garvey?
Garvin.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin, yeah.
Garvin, yeah.
You guys
She'd
are
be-
all speaking a foreign language.
That was the greatest feud of all time. Rugged Ronnie Garvin versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. Okay.
Guessing this is all WWF-ish stuff.
Yes. But
Or
speaking of
WWE. What are they now?
Yeah.
It was WWF at the time.
I went to a match once. I didn't pay attention, but I went.
Really?
once.
Well, how
Mhm,
old
when
were
they
you?
At Spectrum. I was an adult.
Oh.
They were at the Spectrum Arena
Did you take your
years
kids?
ago. Yeah.
Ah. You don't
You know, I
remember
wouldn't pay no damn attention. No.
I've been to one wrestling match in my entire life, and I was 14,
Mhm.
and I was so disappointed, and I said to myself, never again.
Oh.
And I've not been since. And the only reason I say I was it's one of those things where I still had blinders, so I knew that it
Oh,
was
you
kind of
didn't
not
know.
real.
Did you make any
But-
Did you make any signs?
No. But the fact that I could see clearly from where I was sitting that it wasn't real, I'm like, okay, this spectacle is not
Spoiler.
the same as it is on television.
Spoiler
Like
alert
on
for our
television?
fans.
Camera angle can make you be like, oh shit. But like when you're actually sitting there watching it, it makes it even, especially this is like in the 90s. So no, it was before the 90s. I think I was in the 9th grade. Anywho, just
Hey,
watching
can
it
we-
up close
Hey,
was
can you
like, oh, this is bullshit.
can you
I
send
I
us
can't do this.
Art, can you give me some pictures of you of when you were in 9th grade and we can post it on our Instagram to go along with this episode?
I don't
A
think I have,
ninth grade art star.
I don't
pick.
think I have any 9th
I would
grade
love to
pictures.
see Art Star in 9th grade.
I think everybody should dig up their ninth grade pick. Thank you.
My daughter's in
Oh,
9th grade
for-
right now.
I might have had them
I
all.
saw she went to homecoming.
I don't like it. I don't like any of it. Girls should
That's
never
That's
date.
I'm sorry to break it to you. Your children will date, and you're gonna have to get over it. And I hope you have the same energy for your son, Joe, or I'm gonna call you sexist.
He should only date his pizza.
It's
He
pizza
delivers-
only.
He delivers pizzas.
That's his
Yeah,
only.
it's just gross to think about your kids making out with people.
I mean, the goal is to not think about it. So,
You don't think about your sons making out
Nope.
with chicks
don't want to know.
or dudes, whatever they prefer?
Don't want to know. I would
Don't
love for
wanna-
them to prefer dudes. I've been asking for it. and
I
they
know. I want my
have shut me down.
Yeah, I know. Mine too. I'm so disappointed that they're not gay.
I asked for a son-in-law, and neither one of my sons is willing to make that happen. So whatever.
Oh no, that's right. You can't have you won't have a son-in-law unless they
I
change their mind.
Oh, right. It's fine. I got over it.
It's fine.
They are my oldest, no, my youngest, had a girlfriend in the last couple years of high school. I adored her. I sent her care packages when she went to college, even though they were broken.
They were broken up.
Yeah, they broke up at the end of senior year because they
And
were
you
going
still
to
sent her
different
stuff?
colleges. Well,
Good.
the
Yeah.
responsible thing. We're not going to be in the same place.
Yeah.
Let's not drag this thing on. We can be friends, and they are, and I adore her. They catch
Aw.
up sometimes.
Well, speaking of catching up, if we were to catch up with where we left off on Captain Marvel,
Let's go.
Yes.
Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson's characters were about to go to the facility for Project Pegasus because they've decided to team up and become friends. And I love Brie Larson even more because you made me watch the Room, not to be confused with The Room.
You have to tell everyone on the podcast your feelings about The Room because we talked about it in the text chain.
The
but now
question
you
is,
can
did he
tell.
finish it?
I did finish it.
Did you cry a little bit?
I was very, it's just very creepy.
It's lots of emotions. It's hard to
Yeah.
watch.
It's hard to watch. I had to stop. Like I'm trying to,
But
not
she's
to
good.
spoil it.
She's good though.
Yeah, she's
isn't she?
really good. She's a really,
She's
really,
so
really
good.
good actress.
Which is why you're like, why are people hating? This
Yeah.
woman is an incredible actress.
Yeah, it makes no sense why anybody would hate because she's unbelievable. It's so hard to do, hard to watch because if you have children, you can't even fathom the situation they're in.
Yeah, as a parent, it is very hard
Yeah,
to watch.
there's a big climactic
spoiling,
scene. Yeah, I'm
just-
trying not
yeah.
to spoil it. That right before that, I had to pause it and turn it off because I'm like, I can't take the anxiety of this scene. I have so much anxiety over the scene, and there's already enough anxiety in the world that everyone lives with. So I was like, I don't want to watch this for entertainment. This is not entertaining. I need to turn this off. Maybe I'll revisit it. And then like
Yeah.
2 days later, I revisited it, and it was good. It was like
Yeah, you
fine.
definitely have to go in with trigger warnings because it's a hard subject. One, and if you have kids, teenagers, it's a hella hard subject. But
oh yeah,
for her acting skill alone,
yeah,
worth the watch.
I like some of it that they don't even like talk about the perpetrator and the thing afterwards. Like they don't even revisit that guy. You don't even really
No, it's
find
her
out.
story.
You don't
It's
even
her
find out,
story.
yeah, how she got in that predicament, really. So it's really good. It's really well done, but hard to watch again. But
Yeah.
but she was great. But it makes my respect for Brie Larson go through the roof because she.
There you go. There you have it, audience.
Yep.
Go watch all
Brie
the
Larson's
Brie Larson
the best,
movies.
and there's no justified hate for her at all.
None.
Now watch. We're gonna find out tomorrow she killed somebody, and then I'll be on the hook for that. But
Don't you put that out into the universe.
no, I don't want to. But right now, she's arriving at the facility for Project Pegasus with Fury using Fury's security clearance. And secretly, Fury calls for backup to sell Carol out. But that's before they got real close and really realized they're friends. And the two sneak into the archives to find information on Lawson. Before entering, Fury spots a small orange cat called Goose, who is a Marvel Snap card, and to which he quickly takes a liking. Now,
Is Goose a Marvel Snap card or a Marvel character?
is it a Marvel?
It's actually
character?
named Chewie in the comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's only Goose in the movies?
Yeah, because I think they're doing they're leaning heavily into like sort of Top Gun-ish fighter pilot business with her.
Oh, that's where the Goose name came from. But she didn't name it Goose, did she?
No, she doesn't in the movie.
I don't
I think it's
recall.
on is it on the collar, I think?
Or was it already named Goose? Yeah, Goose is friggin' weird.
He's a cat. What is he supposed to be?
I mean, there's stuff that happens with Goose.
Yes, later, but right now in this scene, Goose is just a cat that everyone loves.
Do you love Mart?
I hate him.
Oh,
I hate him.
so Goose.
Do
is
you hate
called
him based on what?
He disrupted my play.
Are you you hate the character on Snap.
Oh,
Actually,
yes.
I don't. I just
So-
had to
So Goose is
Yeah.
called Chewie in the comic. And what's the Andy? Gonna give us the origin?
Andy, are you
No,
awake?
yeah,
Oh.
I'm technically awake. I'm looking it up actually.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that. You can jump in. They find this cat, and then Fury states that Lawson's work was dismissed because she seemed crazy. And Carol observes the work and notes that she was Cree since she wrote something out in their language. Fury then finds a file stating that Lawson is dead after a mission that also took the life of one other pilot. They also find a testimonial from another pilot named Maria Rambeau, played by Lashana Lynch.
Did you know she's British? British?
No, she is?
She is British.
That's so impressive when British people like talk like an English.
They do it better than we do.
Better than we do. It seems like
we try and talk like them.
They did.
Yeah, and Maria Rambeau is the woman in Carol's memories that she was best friends with.
Yeah, the cat is named basically Chewbacca,
really,
because he kind of looked like Chewbacca as was
In
how
the
it was a lot fluffier in the comics that I've seen. And she's a pilot, and Chewie's a good co-pilot, I guess.
Yeah, Chewie's a co-pilot, I guess, in Star Wars. But yeah, I like Goose because it's Top Gun or whatever, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Anthony Edwards.
So this actress who plays Maria Rambeau. So okay, I think we've already covered this basically, though, that there wasn't, or maybe Andy said he didn't know, but we're not sure if there was a Maria Rambeau in the comics or it was just this that's added here to fit this storyline together, because in the comics,
well, I mean, I think she was in the comics, but I don't know if she wasn't co-pilots with Carol Danvers.
Was Carol Danvers. So this,
but it is Monica's mother's name in the comics.
Monica's mother is in it, but she's not necessarily related to Carol Danvers. So yeah, I like this whole story. I don't care what they say about the comics or what the nerds say. So there.
Yeah, I mean, Monica Rambeau is a little different. So yeah.
Now, do you know this actress from somewhere, TBJ?
She is going to be in a Shondaland series. Can't remember if it's come out or it's coming out. That's just kind of where I dug up some info. I kept watching it and thinking she looked familiar, and then it made me Google her, and I went,
Lashana Lynch. She's she's been 007.
She has?
Yes, she's been.
I don't watch any of those, so
she's been 007.
That's wait, like in a movie?
In the movie, No Time to Die.
How many 007s, or how many? 007s have there
She was in the last. She was in the last one.
Was she good? She's British.
Yeah,
did you see it, Art Star?
Yeah, she was pretty good.
Do you like 007s, Art Star?
I love 007.
Oh boy, Andy.
I never liked it growing up. Then Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig one, came out, and I was like, all right, this is very different and cool, because it used to be just there were like 22 goddamn movies of British guy saves world.
Whoa! Hey!
Treats women badly.
Treats women badly.
Yeah.
Does he treat women badly, or?
I mean,
go watch Dr. No. Go watch Sean Connery.
Or is the acting on par for what society in the world portrayed women? Like Sean Connery, like most Bonds are like basically Chris Hemsworth, right?
No.
So it's just like, oh, Roger Moore.
I disagree with your premise.
The fact that he walks up to the ladies and he'd be like, Bond, James Bond, and he has the British accent.
He was created to be a bit sexist and misogynistic.
At one point, Sean Connery spins a woman around, swats her on the butt, and says, "You can leave now. Men are talking," or something like that.
Ooh.
Check this out. The older ones don't hold up now because of the way society is. But when those movies came out, it's one of those things.
Society was shitty enough to make them good.
I'm not saying it was right.
It's reflection of society.
I'm pretty sure there's still a certain demographic of society who
it's one of those things when you get into, I don't know, like I feel like
they've gotten better since then.
I always have an issue with is because, and I'm speaking purely from an artist standpoint, right? At some point, we have to, we can't go back and change the past. Right?
We can't, but
we can acknowledge it, but then we can't in the present, dismiss something in the past because of the way things are Like not everything
Hey,
needs to
Art,
quote
that's you
unquote
because I dismiss stuff
canceled.
all the time.
Not
If I find
everything
out it
needs
was
to be
trash.
canceled. Not everything in the past needs to be canceled.
No one's saying it's canceled. You can acknowledge that it was trash. You can acknowledge that it was misogynistic. You can acknowledge that they made way too many movies before they got hip with the sexism. You can acknowledge all that. And all Andy said was he wasn't into it when he was younger because it was 20 damn movies of the same shit. And so he said no thank you back then, which he had a right to, because even in that time, you can acknowledge that's not great. I can acknowledge a lot of things aren't great, but it doesn't, we can't always be like, oh my God, it's so good. That's like people still praising Birth of a Goddamn Nation. Like, come on, y'all. It was like the top movie ever, right? But go back and watch that shit. It's gross. And so we can say, as creatives, we can acknowledge that some creatives have made some gross things out there in the world that are not appetizing now. At the time, some of the population, because don't say all, because I'm willing to bet we could find protests when the first bonds came out from women. So some of the population, by mostly male and a misogynistic centered population, was okay with it. Doesn't discredit what it did at the time, but we can acknowledge it was trash. No one's canceling it. It still plays. They're still getting their money, but you can say no thank you to it.
And that's what I mean. I wanted to like, Sean Connery with swagger and all that. Like, I fell asleep like 3 times trying to watch Dr. No once.
Ape chant for 1,000.
Yeah, the best of Sean Connery was probably people making fun of him on Celebrity Jeopardy and Saturday Night Live. But
yes.
Yeah, I remember getting dragged to see GoldenEye when it came out, and just like, this is just.
So Lashana Lynch, I just Googled it really quick just to see pictures of her as a 007. And of course, I see the first headline is Lashana Lynch on the backlash received for being the first black female 007, which of course, everyone's going to hate that.
I was going to say, are you surprised?
But I see a picture right away. I see a picture of her with the other guy who is it Daniel Craig or whatever.
Yeah.
And that makes me realize I don't know what a 007 is. A
007 is the agent name. James Bond is the character's name. So you can be 007 without being James Bond.
So more than, that was my question.
More than one signification just means you have a license to kill.
Oh, more than one person can be a 007. James Bond.
Or not at the same time.
No.
Like at the time, James was retired. So now she was 007.
Oh, so there's only one 007 at a time?
There's only one 007, one 005, one 00 whatever.
But a 007 isn't synonymous with James Bond. You don't have to be James Bond to be a 007.
You do not have to be.
And I think Bond. One of like the first Daniel Craig one is like 007, like the enemy turned out to be a rogue 006 or something like that. And so he had to fight his own someone who preceded him or whatever. But
well,
it was
I'm
cool
excited that I didn't know
more.
She was like this big star. I didn't know. I've never, I didn't know. Of course, I'm completely out of touch with everything, but
yeah, I haven't seen her movie.
Dose of black girl magic for today.
I stopped watching them after Skyfall because like they were still like Casino Royale was like, yeah, this is all right. I can get into this. And then Quantum of Solace was not bad, but it was a lot like,
you love playing Spy
fun.
Hunter. You love playing Spy Hunter on Nintendo, Andy. So I would think you would love
because the Peter Gunn theme is a pretty good song.
That's
but then what was it? Skyfall had a great Adele theme song, and but by the time it ended, I was like, this is I didn't like. It just felt dumb. It's like this doesn't make any sense. I don't agree with what's happened, and I don't even barely remember what happened or what my disagreements were. But I was like, all right, I think I'm back to being done with James Bond.
Okay. Well, Carol contacts Jan Rog with the new information she has now and reveals to her that Lawson was a Kree official named Marvell, but she went rogue and was declared an enemy. And Talos arrives.
Yeah.
Did I say it right? Talos arrives to attack along with other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and Fury has already determined that his boss is an alien. He and Carol manage to escape since Coulson spots them but lets them go. And they hijack a jet. That's how we know Coulson's cool. And they hijack a jet with
Can we back up a minute?
Yeah, we can back up.
how does Fury know that Talos is a Skrull?
Oh, what does he say wrong? He's like,
In the elevator.
yeah, like we did in Nam or whatever he said. It was like,
Who? How? But how?
Because he didn't actually. He was testing him. He threw out a fake story,
yeah,
and he just agreed with it.
But before that, how? Like before he started.
He knew right when they got in the elevator. Is that what you're saying, Art?
Right, but why?
Because he's a spy. I don't remember.
Come on, you guys.
Are you
I don't
pushing at something
remember.
specific?
I'm being very specific. He told the story way before they even got into the base. A story that he was telling Carol Danvers when she asked him what about his name.
oh
And
yeah,
what
his
did he say?
Nicholas J. Fury.
Called him Nick and didn't call him Fury.
Nobody calls me.
No, he
Nick.
called.
They all call me Fury.
It's just Fury.
Yeah.
And
That's
Talos
right.
calls him Nicholas.
Oh, when he
Easter
says "Good
chicken.
job, Nicholas."
Yeah,
Easter
good job.
chicken.
Yeah, Easter chicken.
I told y'all I was coming in the very beginning. Once we start, well, even though it's been like 40 minutes when we started this, but at the very beginning, that's an Easter chicken. Him calling him Nicholas.
Yep,
Was
that was good. Yeah, he called him Nicholas or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I like little moments like that. Anyway, they hijack a jet with Goose stowing away and head to find Maria. And Jan Rog speaks to Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace, Andy's favorite actor of all time.
Coming back from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. This predates that, or this is basically what he was doing before he became a fanatic.
And Lee Pace has invented Pace taco sauce.
No.
In New York City.
Is that the Joe-verse?
You don't know. He might have. He might be related to the founder.
The Joe-verse is a chaotic mess of insanity. That
You know what?
sense.
The Deborah Joe Ruppa verse is perfectly fine. Anyway, Jan Rog speaks to Ronan the Accuser about their mission against the Skrulls being a failure, and Ronan wants to locate the Skrulls himself, but Jan Rog doesn't tell him they're on Earth so that Star Force can handle it themselves. And Carol and Fury arrive in Narlands, and Carol is greeted by Maria's daughter, Monica. Akira
Say
Akbar.
New Orleans again.
Narlands.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Nolans. I think
New
that's
Orleans.
New Orleans or New Orleans.
Narlands.
Narlands. Anyway, Monica's daughter is played by Akira Akbar, who remembers her as Auntie Carol. And okay, now this I've probably already asked this a bunch of times, but never mind. This was before. I'm trying to remember where. Now I'm forgetting where. Oh, it was WandaVision. Yeah, that's way before WandaVision. So
yeah.
Obviously,
This is set in the 90s. WandaVision was set in like after Endgame.
Right. So you guys, I mean, we know watching this now that she is going to end up being in WandaVision and all that. But like, do you guys know? Like, did people watching this know that that's a little future Captain Marvel?
Yeah, you waiting for Monica Rambeau? It's like, that's Monica.
Oh, you know
Rambeau.
the name.
One
That's
from the
not Monica
comics.
Rambeau.
Yeah.
You know it's Monica Rambeau.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we weren't sure whether or not how they were going to play it.
How they're going to make her.
Whether or not, like maybe Maria Rambeau would become a Captain Marvel first, or something like that, or get superpowers.
Yeah.
So, but we knew they had something in store with Monica.
Okay.
We didn't know how until WandaVision, but
I kind of liked it. I've seen WandaVision already, so I know who she's gonna be, and it's kind of neat watching her. Like, this is a superhero, a young superhero.
Yeah.
Anyway, and like we've already talked about the fact that this relationship with her and Carol Danvers doesn't exist in the comics. But probably does now.
Yeah,
but it did
probably
then.
especially not with Maria Rambeau.
Yeah. Well, she remembers her as Auntie Carol. Maria, however, is in deep shock to see her best friend alive and with superpowers. Monica takes out a box with memorabilia of Carol's past, leading her to remember her true name. And I couldn't tell if she ever really remembered, but a neighbor then knocks on Maria's door, but Carol suspects it's Talos. After scaring off the neighbor, Talos appears already inside the house with his other surviving comrade, Norax, played by Matthew Maher.
Lorax.
You know who that is? Norax? Is that a famous thing?
No, actually, yeah, that's the first time I've heard that name. Let me look it up.
I just saw it in this description that I found online. But Talos gets spooked by Goose as he identifies the cat as being a flurkin. The whole flurkin bit is kind of funny. A particularly dangerous alien creature. And at this point, we think they're just afraid of cats and they call them flurkins, but we find out later that it's a goddamn flurkin.
God dang flurkin.
Spoiler alert.
One cute flurkin, but a flurkin nonetheless.
It's an adorable flurkin. He then asks Carol to help him decode coordinates from a black box recording. And they load it on Maria's computer. And I love this, that they kind of make fun of the 90s technology. What's taking so long? It's loading, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. This is reminding everybody what the internet was in the 90s.
Oh, my God. I thought back to when I moved to Chicago in 99. I remember having the internet and having to, like,
how many
dial
AOL
up.
discs did you have?
Yeah, the AOL, like, you had to just get a new one. Like, you get one in the mail all the time. And
You're
then
right.
you just get another 3 free months.
Free trial.
Well, it was cool because I lived in this big apartment building, and I would just take other people's discs.
Nothing like booting it up again.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Yes. And that sound of waiting for the internet to kick in, that sound of
Yeah, the dial-up modem noise.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm about to get on the internet. I'm about to check email. And you were so excited.
Yeah.
Now we take it all for granted, and we can just do it.
Yeah, and that's great because you don't see, no one has loading scenes anymore. They don't have to wait for anything to load.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, let me, like, you know, Tony Stark walks in and flicks his wrist, and suddenly there's a gigantic 3D map of the human genome or whatever.
Right. And I had to wait 20 minutes for the Simpsons animation studio game to load on my computer that I had. That's so much fun. It probably wasn't that fun, but it was technology at the time. Yeah. Where are we at? They're floating on the computer. They overhear the dialogue between Carol and Lawson, the black box, and this triggers a major flashback to Carol, who remembers the day when she and Lawson were flying from enemies above the earth before they crashed, transporting an energy core, and Lawson revealing herself to be Carol as Mar-Vell orders her to destroy the core. The enemy pursuing them was Jan Rog. And so she realized this, you know. So he killed Mar-Vell, and before he could take the core, Carol destroyed it. The ensuing blast coated her with the energy that gave her powers and wiped her memories. Jan Rog found her broken dog tag with only Vers of Danvers being visible, which is why he and the other Kree call her Vers. And Talos then reveals that Mar-Vell was helping him and the Skrulls find a new home, as the Kree have done nothing but take homes and lives from the Skrulls. So here's the moment where she realizes she's part of the bad people. It's me.
Yep.
I'm the problem. It's me. That's a Taylor Swift song.
Hello, little Taylor Swift reference.
I'm now a Swiftie.
All right, down with the T-Swizzle.
I just listened to what's his name? Her boyfriend, Mr. Swift.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce's new podcast with his
Did you
brother,
calling him Mr. Smith?
Mr. Swift. Yeah, he should change his name. He shouldn't be Travis Kelce.
Let them date a little longer before we decide that.
Yeah, I guess they got to get married first. But yeah, so they have a podcast called New Heights, I think. Because they're both from Cleveland Heights, and they talk a lot about being in Cleveland. And
but one with him and his brother.
Him and his brother, yeah, Jason Kelce. Yeah. They're Ohio boys. So it sounds a lot like this podcast when you listen to it.
Really? They talk about Captain Marvel?
They talk about a lot of poop.
They're just shooting the crap.
Yeah,
as siblings.
In a bucket.
Shooting the poop.
Speaking of poop,
piece of that Kit Kat.
Should we revisit the whole poop on the floor of the New York Comic Con at all? Is there any updated news on that?
We don't need to visit anything about it today.
I've heard no news about that.
Have you looked?
I'm sure they're doing DNA testing to find out the culprit.
I hope so.
Could be a baby.
Carol becomes overwhelmed by the revelations regarding her past and the fact that her trusted allies are really the enemies. And Maria encourages Carol to not stop doing the right thing and help Talos and the Skrulls do what they need to do. And Monica then convinces Maria to join her friend on the mission, assuring her that she'll be safe with her grandparents. And the grandparents have that one line like, what the hell's going on now? I like that. I want a whole Marvel show just with the grandparents watching watching Monica Rambeau. That'd be funny. Because those two had some scenes that were probably cut for the movie.
Probably.
The grandparents.
Kind of like
Anyway.
Star-Lord's grandpa in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Monica then helps Carol change the colors of her suit so she won't wear Kree colors anymore. And Monica changes it to the iconic red, blue, and gold suit. That's kind of
Repping the Air Force t-shirt.
Yeah, there
Made
you
me
go.
slightly nostalgic from those days.
Well,
Only slightly.
that was a nod to TBJ. They did that for you, probably.
They did. They
Definitely
were like,
did.
what branch was TBJ in? Someone said Air Force, and they said, bet, put it in the movie.
Air Force. Is that why you wear Air Force Ones everywhere you go?
Considering I rarely wear tennis shoes. Yes, Joe. Yes.
TBJ's too classy for tennis shoes.
She's not necessarily classy. She just,
I think you're
likes a
pretty
certain
classy.
aesthetic.
I think you're a pretty classy lady.
Well, thanks.
Yanrog tests the Skrull who was shape-shifting as Carol. I referred to this in the last episode, I think, because there's a Skrull shape-shifting as Carol, and this is when he reveals that the blue blood coursing through her veins is his. I don't think he ever explains how or why.
Transfusion to save her life, I think.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Because, she was wrecked. Then when they found her, she was...
Oh, at that point. Oh, I see. The saver.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's like, oh, I saved her, so I'm this great guy.
Mhm.
And Talos guides Carol, Maria, and Fury to Mar-Vell's lab, which is cloaked and above Earth, to find the source of the energy core that will help them continue their travels. There, Talos reunites with his wife and daughter, along with other Skrulls who are hiding. And Carol then finds the core source, the Tesseract. So
There you go.
back to the. So this is the. Is this
But
now?
this is the first appearance of it since Captain America, the first Avenger. I mean, chronologically.
Chronologically.
After it sort of fell into the ocean, and then they, I think Howard Stark found that when looking for Cap, he found the Tesseract, and then it was in Shield custody, and then there was the cuts, like the post-credit scene, and after one of the Thors,
Yeah.
where Nick Fury kind of showed it to Stellan Skarsgård, who was secretly Loki in disguise. And I can't remember which Thor. No, because the end of Thor 2 is when. It was after the first Thor. Loki was disguised as Stellan Skarsgård's character. They show him the Tesseract, and then that's when he grabs it, and the whole plot of the first Avengers movie starts.
Gotcha.
And Tesseract is a big part of that.
So we don't know how this Tesseract got here.
Oh, wait.
Because Howard Stark.
Well, it was not. It was the power source floating in space, so it existed not in the United States. Remember, it's floating in space. Put
Didn't
there.
Howard Stark
Okay,
find it in the 40s?
Yeah. Found it in the 40s, and so then I guess they put it. That's where they hid it to keep it away from, because it was in that invisible satellite. So where they found the Tesseract, is that right?
Right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
So that was probably where they were hiding superpowered things of
The sword. Yeah, that's
Origin,
why they
yeah.
were trying to go get it.
right. And so then after this movie is after Goose coughs it back up at the end of the.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause
Spoiler
Goose
alert.
eats it. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler and now.
And then we assume they put it somewhere else.
Well, Star Force arrives to cause trouble as Carol has a device on her neck that suppresses her powers. They capture her and keep everyone else prisoner. Yanrog and the others force Carol into the realm of supreme intelligence, still taking Mar-Vell's form. It taunts Carol up until she managed to recall all the times where she was knocked down and still managed to pick herself up. Girl power. TBJ is like standing on her seat at this point. Like, yeah, ladies. And
I mean, I was already on my seat when they were flying into space in the first place. I was already like, yes, boss chicks, let's do
Okay.
this.
Yes.
So I was already hyped.
Yes.
Did you go, okay?
I did not do that, but I was like, yes.
Did you go,
Not a fan,
yes,
not slapping.
queen, yes.
Yes,
Basically.
queen.
Basically.
Yes. Girl power. With this, she overpowers the device and pulls it off, allowing her to break free from Supreme Intelligence's hold. She then proceeds to start kicking Kree ass all over the place. Meanwhile, Fury, Maria, and Talos try to protect the Tesseract, which Goose absorbs for safekeeping using her tentacles. Then they get past the other Kree with Talos even disguising himself as one. And they manage to beat them in order to save the others. Maria pilots a jet to escape from the lab, and Yan-Rong orders Minerva to go after them. As they get back down to Earth, Minerva chases after them in her own jet, but Maria gets the upper hand and manages to blast Minerva away with her own jet. Ronan then arrives with the other accusers, go after the Skrulls, but Carol powers up and destroys the reinforcements before plowing through an entire vessel just by flying through it.
Yeah.
Like, what do they? C-53 doesn't have any guardians or something. He says.
Yeah. Like they don't. Like at this point, there's no superheroes. They don't have any like. This is
Nobody cares about.
They don't even have Reagan's Star Wars bullshit going. They don't have any interstellar capabilities. They're not ready for a higher form of war.
They should have the Reagan Star Wars because it was the 90s, right?
That shit didn't work.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
That was all dumb bullshit, boondoggle. But yeah. So like they don't like at one point they're like they don't have the capability to come up with anything or do anything or come up with faster than light bullshit that they're trying to investigate. So Ronan just shows up. Oh well, we'll just cover bomb the whole planet and take whatever we want, or just to destroy Skrulls. And then it turns out, wait a minute, they've got their first Avenger, Captain Marvel.
The first Avenger.
Well,
then
second
Ronan
Avenger, I guess. Captain America was technically.
Oh, I guess because he was in the 40s. Ronan decides to retreat until another time when he can go after Carol. Yan-Rong decides to go after the Skrulls himself, but Carol flies ahead, causes him to crash his pod to Earth. He gets out and attempts to battle her one-on-one, but Carol hits him with one powerful blast, knock him back. Kind of like that, like before he even could say anything, she just blasts him.
Because that's his only gambit is to try to macho her into a fist fight.
Yeah, and try to get in her head and like.
Well, he's been in her head for so long, right?
Yeah.
He was a trainer, so he's gonna revert back to that.
I love that she doesn't even.
Fuck you! You don't get to verbally suppress my power.
Right.
And I think this was
nothing to prove to you.
Yeah, I love that, and I think a lot of dumb nerds were all upset. Like, man, they didn't have a really good fight at the end.
Because she didn't have to. You
can't
get her to fight in a man's war like a man. She said no. I am a supreme being chick with some magical powers. I'm gonna fight the way I'm built to fight.
Yeah, I'm not fighting on your terms. This is not your terms anymore. These are my terms, and fuck you. Bam.
So again, I'm just gonna remind you how hype I were when they went into space. Then I was extra hype as they were coming out of space, as Maria is flying that jet like a boss. And then I'm hyped when we get to this scene, and I'm like, women do run the world. We absolutely do.
Who run the world?
Girls.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was really so great. She just doesn't give a shit.
I mean, there was some folks saying like, Brie plays it like a little flat sometimes throughout this movie because it's more understated. And I think Carol Danvers in the comics could be a bit more brash, and I think we might get more of that but this is her recovering from 6 years of being mind fucked and
I mean her whole life was a lie, right? For however long,
right? What she thought to be was not.
Just because this fucking asshole that she thought was her friend,
and she's coming to terms with it and having to quickly come to the rescue of some peeps.
Yep.
Yep.
She then throws Jan Rog back to his pod and sends him back to Hala with a warning to Supreme Intelligence.
Allah.
Hala?
Yep.
I don't remember. Hela. I was thinking of Hela. Hela from Hala? Hala from Hela? Has Hela ever been to Hala?
No, not that I'm aware of.
It wouldn't exist if she was there. She would have killed everything.
Yeah.
On the Skrull ship, Fury is playing with Goose, who then scratches his left eye.
So we get a peek at what happened.
Left eye Lopez.
And this
why
was
TLC.
Nick Fury has a line at some point saying, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye. And then that was I guess an Easter chicken for this.
So
Right.
trusted
I
Goose.
think he said that during like Captain America Winter Soldier or something like that, because he was, sniffing out Robert Redford's evil plan. But Goose is the last person he trusted, and it cost him an eye. I mean, you didn't know it when he said that, but now we know who the last time he trusted someone. It was a cat.
So he dismisses the scratch as nothing, but Talos knows what will happen. And that, boys and girls, is how Nick Fury lost his eye, according to this description, which we...
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. Carol decides she has to help the Skrulls find a new home on her own. She gives Fury a pager to contact her in the event of a great emergency. Sky page. It also tells him to keep the Tesseract on Earth for safety. Carol bids farewell to Maria and Monica once again before leading Talos and the Skrulls off of Earth and toward a new planet. And back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Fury's making plans for his Protector Initiative. Coulson comes in to bring him fake eyes and asks if he lost his eye to the Kree as torture for information, but Fury neither confirms nor denies. And then he sees a photo of Carol next to her jet, which bears her call sign Avenger. And then Fury knows just what to call his new initiative.
Yep.
So she is the first Avenger. Because Captain America was never called that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not technically, other than the title of this movie.
Yeah. But we don't call her an Avenger yet either. She's the catalyst to the Avengers.
Yeah, although technically, I guess Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer were active as Ant-Man and the Wasp in the 80s. So you could call those the second and third Avengers.
Well, and I mean, her call sign was Avenger, so she's really an Avenger already.
Yeah, that's true.
Mid-credits scene. Steve, Natasha, Bruce, and Rhodey have found Fury's pager.
This is
jumps
to the present day at that time, after Infinity War.
After the snap.
After the snap.
Yeah, because he disappears.
After Nick Fury goes, and then disappears.
Yeah, that's great. And they're trying to figure out who he was sending a message to. Yeah, because they don't know Carol Danvers exists, right?
Yeah, they have no idea who that is.
Yeah. Carol then appears behind Natasha to ask, where's Fury? And she's got longer hair, I think, or
longer hair.
Or shorter hair. Some of it looks different.
It's longer. But then it's weird because then later on, Rocket makes fun of it and like, you managed to get a haircut, but go on.
And then post credits, Goose hops onto Fury's desk in his office and coughs up the Tesseract.
Yep.
And that is all of Captain Marvel.
Yep. And then most of the major plot line about the Skrulls, we don't see them again until this year's Secret Invasion series on Disney Plus, which
that's not true. Aren't they in a post credit scene in WandaVision or something? Or at the end
we get one in that,
in the movie theater.
She come to get Monica, which sets up, which is I guess the precursor to the Marvels.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, apologize to TVJ and to Dino and to
stop making Andy apologize to everyone. You're such an Andy hater the last 2 days.
Yeah. 2 days. What are you talking about?
Andy's a son of a bitch.
Your whole life, but for us, me specifically, he's been such a hater for 2 days in a row.
Andy's a bully. Andy's nothing but a no good bully, older brother bully.
Yep, that's all.
Bullies
that's
everybody.
That's how it happened.
Yep.
I was a complete, overbearing, obnoxious, loud, dumb
You gave
jerk.
you gave Joe plenty of wedgies. And what really?
Andy would always eat all
I
the
have delivered
ranch.
no wedgies that I can recall in my
You'd
life.
always eat all the ranch sauce, and then there would be no more ranch sauce left. And then I want some ranch sauce.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I love ranch.
I've never had ranch dressing until I was an adult.
Yeah, you ate all the Count Chocula.
Somebody, if I went to make a sandwich, I put some bread out on the counter, and then I went to put the bread back in the drawer, and I would turn around, and someone had poked a goddamn finger through both slices of bread and made them impossible to
That's
make a
awesome.
sandwich.
Interesting.
That is
And the cool
awesome.
thing is,
Interesting.
we actually lived together in college, and I would do that then too.
Good job.
Or I would
idiot.
just take your sandwich, and you'd make a sandwich. We'd take all this time to make a sandwich, and then he'd go put all the ingredients away, and I go take the sandwich and run away with it, hide it in the house somewhere.
Yes.
See, who's the bad brother now?
Art is the bad brother.
You're throwing your lover under the bus.
Art's the
Ooh.
greatest of all time.
Oh yeah.
Art is by
Oh,
far
yeah.
the best looking person on this podcast.
Oh yeah. You damn
He can
right.
have because I need people to pay to love on them thighs. So
Oh yeah, Art's the
Damn straight.
meat. Anybody
So
have
I
any
know-
final thoughts on this movie?
I want to say stuff about Secret Invasion.
Don't
So you
turn
watched
into
it,
art.
Invasion?
I
You
think
watched it,
only.
Andy?
Yeah, I did. And it hasn't gotten the best reviews, and I can see why. And it's
Because it does a lot of fuckery.
yeah, and but there's one thing in particular that
Is it a movie or a show? First,
it's
of
a
all?
show. It's
Show.
like a 6-episode series.
And you
that,
guys have all watched it.
I don't know if TBJ
I have
has.
not. No.
Yeah,
You know
but-
I'm limited on the television, and it's
Yes.
Hallmark Christmas movie time.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
The 3
already?
new releases just happened.
Oh, I
Yeah.
started to watch
Every
but I
Friday,
fell
Saturday, and
asleep on it.
Sunday is a new release.
I fell
Oh my
asleep on
God.
Where Are You Christmas? Like I started
I
it,
finished
and
it.
I fell asleep.
We're gonna have to
But-
do a whole Hallmark Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
maybe so.
I
But
wouldn't fight it.
I just want to say, like, one of the things that they set up Secret Invasion with, is the fact, like, they go off to find the Skrulls a new home planet. That's what they're gonna do in the 90s.
Right.
And then by the time Secret Invasion rolls around, they're kind of pissed that it hasn't been done yet. And then the only reason they have is because and apparently Nick Fury at one point says, "Yeah, we weren't looking for long before we found out we were not going to be able to find a planet for them." And that's it. That's the explanation. Like, why
Does it say
not?
why?
There's a zillion planets in it's the goddamn
Yeah,
universe.
Then there's the stuff that happens after Endgame where people were saying, well, Carol knew this planet was here. How come she didn't just take them there? You know, so it's like,
Can't they just be on Earth?
That's what they feel like they have to hide, and like there's this sort of rebel
can't be
faction of
themselves,
Skrulls. It
yeah.
turns out by this time, like, Talos is pretty much the only good Skrull left.
They should put them on Dantooine.
so when did you watch it, Andy?
That months ago. Whenever
No,
it-
Secret Invasion you watched months ago?
yeah, I did. I didn't
So all
watch
of
it
this
immediately.
time I've been sitting there saying, I don't want to say this. Easter chicken this, Easter chicken that, thinking I was the only one. You allowed me to believe I was the only one who would watch
Yeah.
it.
Well, and there's two people here that didn't watch it, so I
I've
figured.
I've told people that I'm the only one that watched it. And it's like I'll be sitting
So are
there,
you
we
mad
talking
because
about
he
this.
messed
I
up your
wanna do this.
cred?
Say it again.
Are you
Well,
mad because he spoiled what you wanted to do?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You
not
wanted
at
your
all.
Secret Invasion cred?
to-
There's no
it's-
credit
it's-
to be
It's
had
not
here.
about credit. See, now she just created a narrative that she jumped on.
I was only
That
asking
Art-
a question.
That Art
I did
Star
not create
is
a
the
narrative.
bad guy.
I
And yet
only
she never wants
asked
to.
a
She never wants
question.
to lean into what's Sith nature. She's created a narrative that Ando ran with. Yes,
I did
well,
not
that's-
create a narrative. I asked a question. That's the Sith in
To-
you.
To
You
be
wanna
fair,
sit
No, I think what happened was
Once-
TBJ asked a
once-
question, and then
once-
I
once
created a
and-
narrative.
Thank you, Andy, for defending
No,
me.
she started it. She
No,
started it. Which
she
created
didn't.
the
She
narrative.
asked a question.
All you did was do what you do. You jumped on
I-
board.
yeah, but
See?
Art,
Oh! Don't be blaming a woman for something a
I
guy
know,
did.
Hold on.
This is
when I-
Captain Marvel.
Are you a woman, Andy?
What do you say, Joe? Joe
Andy
has
is a-
something important.
I was gonna say, Art. To be fair, you are a Sith, and
Yep.
you look a lot like Billie Eilish, the bad guy. So you are the bad guy. Now,
Let
what's
me
the
just
next?
say this.
What's the
Let
next
me
movie?
That's
just
coming
say
from
this.
your own lover. He just
Oh,
called
okay,
you
Let
okay,
me
bad
all
just
right.
guy.
say this.
What do you
I
want to
was
say about
not-
Secret Invasion?
I was not blaming TBJ. So don't let Ando then now create his own narrative.
No,
Yeah,
hold
and
on.
Ando,
That
freaking
Art's
You
Ando.
absolutely
TBJ,
were saying
but
she created the
someone is
narrative. That's
combative. It
created
is
the
not
narrative.
Andy or
She
I.
created
I
the
just want to
narrative,
point that out.
and you jumped on board. You jumped on board, Ando,
She suggested a potential
and then
narrative
you
with a
jumped on
question
board.
mark at the end of it, and
It
then I
was a
jumped on
question.
board to
Yep.
try to make a
Some
joke out of it.
bad blood forming in the Nerd School podcast.
That's always been
Factions
bad
forming.
blood between me and Ando.
Bad
Always been
blood.
Factions
bad blood
forming. It's like
between
the
me and Ando.
Survivor series.
Like
Bad blood.
you guys think that TBJ and I are mortal enemies, but it's really it's really Art Star and Ando. TBJ
Is it
TBJ
Art Star and
doesn't know
anyone
this
that's
fact.
not Joe?
It's like
TBJ
Greg Evigan and Paul Reiser.
TBJ doesn't.
Butting
She
heads.
knows it, but she keeps fighting it. TBJ eventually will slaughter me and ascend to Sith Lord. Okay.
It's not happening.
There can only be two Sith.
I won't be a Sith. I have enough in me to say no, thank you. The end.
All right. So what's the next movie after this? We're almost done with
Endgame.
phase.
It's the movie where I have to emotionally prepare myself by
Oh,
bookending.
Endgame. Are you gonna be okay watching this again?
No, but
You'd be
it's
upset?
fine.
Although it's the sequel to this movie, The Marvels, is coming out
Yeah.
next month, November
Yeah.
10th.
I'm excited.
So it's just a couple weeks.
I
So
can't watch
it throws in Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. It's got Monica Rambeau with
That's
full
exciting.
powers
I saw
going on.
the posters for this because I did watch
Maybe
the
And it's got
Guardians.
Kamala Khan from the Ms.
Kamala
Marvel
Khan.
TV
Yeah, I
series.
watched that show, that Ms. Marvel show. That's good. That was a
Yeah.
good show. I
Yeah.
downloaded music off of that one. They had some
Good.
cool Indian rap songs that I never knew existed, but I was like, I like this. So yeah. Anyway, that was good. I like that girl.
Just
who
know to
plays-
prepare myself. I don't like sad things.
And then oh, I can't remember her name. Art, you remember the lady who plays Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan? She was a Marvel nerd before she ever got
Yeah.
cast.
Before she got cast.
And
Yep.
she's was basically the comic lore historian for that series. Like, all right, are we going too far up in the comics here? And then she would sort of check him on that.
What's also
And she's
kinda-
actually now writing Ms. Marvel comics herself.
Oh
But
yeah,
what's
so she's
also
a writer.
kinda
Yeah, we talked about
crazy
her. Iman
is that-
Vellani, is that her name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Ando played that awful Avengers
She's
game,
a
right?
comic book writer now. That's so cool. She's 21. Wait, so
Yeah,
she
it's-
wasn't a comic book writer before, but
No, but
after
she was
this-
just a comic book fan.
She
Like
was
she
comic
dressed
fan.
as Ms. Marvel as cosplay for conventions
Yeah,
or
yeah.
for Halloween and
But
stuff.
what's-
She was
so
a big
what I
fan
was
of that
trying to,
character.
what I was going to say, like in the Avengers video game, doesn't Kamala Khan? She goes to a comic book convention, and basically from that comic book convention becomes an Avenger, right, Ando?
I mean, I think it's an Avengers convention. Like the Avengers have been
that's
gone
right.
for a while or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
Like, there
Avengers
was
convention.
a
Yeah.
day in that video game.
But that's sort of like how they did, and I guess her first episode, was it the first episode when she went to the convention?
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
on this,
Or in the video
show?
game, yeah. Or
Wait,
no, and
so-
she goes to a comic convention in the
In the show.
or the Avengers, yeah, something like that.
Can we talk about how she became a comic book writer? Like what happened? Do we
I
know?
think
Like-
she got the role as Ms. Marvel in the series
go.
after being a big Marvel comic fan, and she is such a she was like, I don't know, I think active on message boards and stuff like that. She was
Mhm.
kind of known in that way, so she was a very passionate comic book fan.
The comic world in general, when it comes to like a lot of pop culture, like they latch on to, I don't want to say superstars, but people who are like kind of popular and they're really into their product and they do certain things. Sometimes you'll have actual actors and actresses and whoever else writing books because like I like this character or they brought
Yeah.
this character, like Nyla Jax, not Nyla Jax, Nyla Rose,
Who's
AEW
this?
wrestler.
Oh,
She's written a couple of comic books. She is huge.
okay.
Huge
That's
nerd.
cool.
And she's Native American, and she's written God damn it, I forgot the name of the damn book. But it's a comic about it's a Native American comic that she's writing. And I want to say it's Marvel or maybe DC or Image, one of those.
She's the first
companies.
openly transgender wrestler in history to sign with a major American promotion when she signed with AEW in 2019. Nyla Rose. I just read that. She's 41, but wrestlers can be old.
From
But
DC.
but Iman Vellani, it says in July 2023, her Wikipedia page says, July 2023 it was announced that she would make her comic writing debut with the 4-issue limited series Ms. Marvel, The New Mutant, co-written by Sabir Perzada. Is that somebody you guys know? Who wrote the
Not
limited
offhand.
series Dark Web Ms. Marvel and episodes of the Ms. Marvel show.
Okay, so Nyla Rose, she writes Thunderbird, X-Men comic.
Ooh.
He's
Yeah.
written for
That's
that.
So
cool
what you're
when people
saying
like-
is we need to turn into writers.
All women,
Yeah.
all the time, for just
No, the Nerd School. We need a special
Nerd
limited
School.
contract to write.
oh, we become writers.
yeah.
Right.
We
Actually,
We can write the Joe-verse.
Art, you can draw,
No.
right? We can write the Deborah Joe Ruppaverse.
no, we're not writing the Joe verse, but we could be creative.
What if the D&D episode we do with James, we turn whatever that adventure happens
Into the
into
Deborah
a-
Joe Ruppaverse?
into a comic book, like whatever happens in that, if we get a good story, well,
We could, and we can have it ready by the next Heroes Con.
boom, and then we can be
Look
like,
at
"Oh,
that.
we're
Mic drop.
comic writers."
See, here's the thing is, it would take, if we were going to get any story
Yes.
out of one episode of D&D,
Right.
we would have had to have our characters pre-built. We would have to,
Right.
we couldn't spend the
And
whole thing.
thought out and
Shut
building
up,
our
Andy.
characters.
Stop ruining everything.
We
I've
need
had
2
a number of
episodes of
D&D sessions
D&D.
where it's like half the
Yes.
time is figuring out,
Just
leveling up your
making
character. or
making a
whatever.
character.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we already have pre-made characters. I'm Bob Newhart.
Oh yeah, there's the what was that?
Larry Daryl and Daryl.
Didn't we have like an aborted podcast effort as like a sitcom universe?
Yes, I
D&D?
still have that somewhere. That map that I drew. It's like all sitcom places, and it was like you were Tom Selleck or something,
Or
and,
Tony Danza.
So you were Tony Danza.
I was Tony Maselli and something out of LA, and we were trying to make that into a role playing universe of some
Yeah.
sort.
Oh, we'll get back
You
to
guys
that.
are such dorks.
What?
Yeah, this was at least 2 years ago, I think.
It was sitcom D&D. Is what I was trying to do.
So
You had
see
to
if
be
James can
sitcom
make that up.
characters. Yeah. We might have to just follow whatever James wants to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been another episode. We're at what
We need to rate it. We haven't rated it.
We're almost to 100 episodes, guys, of Nerd School. This might be
Yes.
episode 97, I think.
But we
It
need
is
to
hard
rate
to
this
tell.
movie. So
100 episodes to get to so Endgame will probably take us at least 3 episodes. So we'll still be doing Endgame at episode 100 probably.
Maybe,
Yeah, we can make it.
unless
look
we
that way.
hurry up. And then
No,
so our 100th
we are not
episode-
going to hurry up in that movie. I can tell you that.
No, there's so much
Endgame
more.
might be 4 episodes.
We will. Endgame will be. There will be 100th episode during Endgame. We can
Maybe
celebrate.
our 100th episode doesn't necessarily have to be, us doing Endgame. It could be just we could do
Come on,
something
that
special
that
for the 100th.
fits.
But we
Endgame.
but we won't.
Maybe-
It would fit if we knew that once we get if like what's this 97. If we sat there and said, you know what, we're gonna make this end Endgame end in 3 episodes. But like, there's no guarantee we'll get Endgame done in 3.
That's
You know,
true.
what if we luck up and get it done in 2? So
We
now
might
we
have
like-
to just pause.
That's
That
very far fetched, Charge.
and the 100th episodes could just be an ASMR of us just
That's a no.
slapping Art's thigh meat.
No.
I do also want to get our the Star Wars thing we were thinking of with
Yeah.
Carrington Wigfall.
Yes, we've got to start that. Get that.
We'll
So-
have time. We'll have to.
I think we just need
We
one
need a
episode
business
just to
meeting.
plan it.
We need to go have lunch and
Yeah.
go plot out some things.
Oh, can we eat tacos?
Are you dying for tacos?
I love tacos.
Tomorrow is Taco Tuesday.
I mean, I doubt we can meet tomorrow, but we
Right.
could meet on a Tuesday.
It's also George Thorogood Tuesday.
But before we get knee deep in this, y'all, we're losing the plot. We need
Right.
to rate how we
TBJ's
each
been wanting
felt
to rate this
about
for the
the
past
movie.
3
No,
minutes.
because I
We need
want us to
rate
keep
this.
some sense of uniformity sometimes.
TBJ is the
guys.
greatest. I
Don't
vote.
you try
Structure.
to
I vote
keep up.
TBJ 2 thumbs
I
up
wrote
for
TBJ for president. TBJ for president.
Oh
TBJ
yeah.
I mean,
for
I
president.
should be.
TBJ for president.
But Joe, your thoughts on the movie?
It's good.
Thank you.
Brie Larson's the queen of the world.
As should be. Ando.
I was a big fan of a lot of what this was doing. Yes, what's our rating system?
We
for-
never decided.
Okay.
18.
I would give it
Bucks.
at least 3 thumbs up. And
3 out of 5.
out of 5.
Are you doing
So
it
we did-
3 out of 3? What
I
are
was
we-
thinking 3 out of 4.
Okay, 3 out of 4 is not bad. We'll go with
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Art star, Sith star.
I would just like to say that I found this movie to be quite enjoyable, and I give it 4 thunderbolts out of 5.
I love that we do not have a uniform rating system
No, we
in
don't.
any way, shape, or form.
That's right.
I will note that regardless of the backlash, I am always going to tune into anything that's woman led.
Yes.
So that's just who I am as a person. And then you throw some black girl magic in there, and then can I just say, I forgot to say this in the fight scene, Annette Bening as the bad guy. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, that whole bit with the Supreme Intelligence where she's just messing with
Yes.
her head.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it, but I was like, I'm so used to seeing Annette Bening a certain way, and I was like, yes, ma'am. Go ahead and be
Yeah.
the bad guy.
Yeah.
So
how do
I
you-
give it a
How do
5
you
out-
feel about her, like, as a person, now that she, because she portrayed the bad guy? Do you love her in this role, or would you rather her not be a bad guy, even though you felt like she
Well,
did her
everybody
thing?
can be a bad guy. Listen, I've seen some
Right,
of my,
right,
but
right.
Michael B. Jordan has played the bad guy. Does it mean he can't get it? No, he can still get it.
So my
Oh.
question is to this: why are you so adverse to being a Sith? Like, come on,
Because
join us.
I'm not a
Join
Sith.
us.
You keep trying to make a
TBJ.
thing a
There's
thing.
there's playing a
TBJ.
bad guy.
TBJ.
There is
I've
who I
seen-
am as a human, as a
I've
person.
seen- I have
It is
seen the
not
look of death
Sith-like.
in your eyes.
No.
I have seen it. I have seen it on multiple occasions.
No.
You haven't
I
either.
am. Here's the difference between me and a Sith. I am not out to get anybody for funsies. I'm not really out to get you for revenge. I might
We
match
gotta
your
go-
energy to match your energy, but
Mhm.
it's never going to, I'm not going to jail for you, so I'm not killing anybody. I'm not dooming anybody. Heck, my ex-husband's alive, y'all. So if I was a Sith,
Quick side
if I
jump.
was a Sith, that sucker would not be walking, but he is. So
Quick side
we're not
jaunt.
meant to be. We're kind.
Quick side jaunt. In the legend continuity of Star Wars, they're starting to lean into the whole light and dark, good and bad kind of thing, where it's, one needs the other to exist kind of thing. And
Yeah,
yin
you
and
need a
yang.
little bit of
Yes,
you
Bring
have
balance to the
everybody.
force.
so
But here, have
so-
you ever seen the movie Inside Out?
I have listen.
I'm
Uh-oh.
gonna go for it. I'm gonna come back to you though.
Uh-oh.
So there are new villains popping up, right? Which
Mhm.
threatens the whole entire galaxy. And people are looking at the Sith as the saviors because they have the moxie to do what the Jedi won't do because they've taken the feelings out of things.
Here's
So-
the thing.
Like
Have you
Pepper Joe
ever,
Rub.
if you saw the movie Inside Out, you know
Mhm.
that everybody has a balance of emotions. You can't be
Mhm.
all joy, you can't be all sad, you can't be all
Mhm.
angry. So everybody is a multiverse human, but it matters at the end of the day which way you would lean. I have a heart, it bleeds for the world. That won't stop. The world has been on fire, and I still have the compassion I need for community work. I will never be a Sith. I'm a
Just you wait.
village.
Just you wait.
That is your deepest desire.
John Ratzenberger's in that movie. Inside Out.
Why don't you get Joe? Why don't you apprentice Joe?
He's also
Why-
in Empire
what
Strikes
is-
Back.
Yeah. Make Joe your apprentice, Art. That's an easy.
Joe's Joe.
That's your easy
I love Joe, but Joe's like the comic foil of the story.
Wait a minute. Paula Poundstone's also a voice in that. And speaking of podcasts, I have to shout out a new podcast I listen to called, have you guys heard of Friendship Onion?
I have
I
not.
feel like I have, but
It's the two guys from Lord of the Rings, the goofy hobbits that are not Sam and
Merry and Pippin,
yeah.
Dominic Monaghan and Billy something.
Yeah,
Billy
so
Boyd.
those two started their own podcast because they like just drinking and bullshitting, and so they have a podcast together, and it's great. So you should listen.
You
Do they
like it
talk about
because
Lord of the
they
Rings,
like
or they just
drinking
talk
and
about
bullshit?
anything?
I listened to the first episode. They do quiz people on Lord of the Rings, but they also just tell stories. They talked about when they were in Thailand and they had to take a boat to a restaurant, and they got the hottest pepper. They didn't speak Thai, so they had no idea what they were ordering. And the chef actually came out of the kitchen to say, "I'm sorry, you guys, you can't order this. You're two white guys. This is like sushi with chilies. Like it's like the hottest thing ever. Just raw fish with covered in chilies." And they were like, "Okay, we'll take two." So they each ordered double because they said they shouldn't eat it. And then one of them almost took a dump in the boat on the way back because it was so
Lord.
it was spicy. So, yep, it's great.
Well,
There
that's
you
another
go.
thing. Eventually,
Pooping
we're
in
gonna have to
boats.
get through the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well on this show.
Yeah, see, we got to mix it. We
Also
got
have
to
to get through the Potterverse.
yeah, we need to like be switching off because I don't want this to just be an MCU podcast.
Well, we're almost caught up to where we
Well,
are currently,
maybe-
so we could take a break and focus on some other things.
Yeah, we can rotate them. Like we'll
Yeah,
do
and
one
Endgame is a
MCU,
good
one Star
thing.
Wars, one Lord of the Rings, one Muggle.
That's what this
Whatever
lunch
bullshit
planning
that
meeting is. So we need to coordinate our schedules, either lunch or dinner or dinner, and work on some plotting.
All right.
Word up.
Say Leonard.
Yeah,
All
lunch
right,
and dinner.
so
Leonard.
Joe,
I
remember
used to call
to
breakfast and lunch fist.
lunch fist.
Yeah,
That's
like
called brunch.
Of course,
Yeah,
you're
but
Sith.
it-
Lunch fist. I've got a
Listen,
lunch fist.
listen. What
Or
I would because to me, I always thought brunch was like something you had on the weekend. So like during the week, it's like okay, it's not quite lunchtime, it's past breakfast. So I put them together because I'm different and I'm an artist, not because I'm a Sith. I said lunch. You know?
Okay.
I'm not a conformist. I don't conform.
We know.
Say potato, I say potato.
You're also
Potato,
a contrarian.
potato.
No.
Thank you for listening to the Nerd School podcast.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud of the pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school me, trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me, sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Excelsior.